Okay, so there is a situation. There's a chips case that is uh, a falsified case. It's an attack out on me. There is the case is an attack on me. The case stemmed from a series of years, beginning with education. And it continued throughout the years, and I've managed to secure myself through all kinds of criminal cases and all kinds of stuff. And most recently, I was proven innocent in a case, but this chips case stemmed from that case, and it was admitted from the attorney, from the public defender's, well, from a public defender, that it was relative to my criminal case. So that had been proven. So that's also unethical, and it's illegal of them to do. However, they tried to Chapter 51 me. They already knew that the criminal case wasn't even valid too. They didn't even know the reasons. The police uh, pulled my hair, took my regalia off. I had a kente cloth scarf on. The male police officer pulled it off of my head while I was in the police car. And the female officer uh, snatched my hair. She put her hands on my head and pulled my head back, like pulled my hair. I didn't say, or I looked at them, and I was just so affected. I pleaded with them to hear what I'm saying. They did not look at any evidence. They just arrested me. That is so unlawful. And I will never again tolerate it or allow that to happen. That is illegal. They are supposed to look at the evidence. They are not supposed to just arrest somebody just because somebody says it. But so many people say those words like to try to bring disorderly conduct and all that different stuff um, to the effect to excuse them using the police unlawfully to basically be their own personal bullies or whatever. Now, there's many factors, there's many reasons, there's many cases. However, I know the truth, and I'm so grateful that I made it through. Okay, I'm here today. So it was just a bunch of stuff. I got out of jail. I was told by a public defender in Kenosha, Wisconsin. She didn't want to hear my story. She tried to accuse me of being a felon. I am not a felon. I literally am going to go through all of my cases and explain them because I want the truth to be out there. I want people to know me for me. I want to be successful for myself. I am a young woman. I am only 38 years of age, okay? So that is the year, that is what's technically, by what people describe, 38 years of age, okay? I'm saying I have my mind. I know who I am, okay? I have my own being. I like who I am. I'm not worried about all that other stuff. But I'm only 38, so I have my whole life. Only thing I plan on doing is living my life. And I can live a very long time. No matter what they try to do, no matter the altars that they try, all kinds of stuff, okay? So the public defender tried to have me to say that I was a felon. She's supposed to be my public defender. She's supposed to be working for me. Um, she accepted a plea without my permission. She didn't really discuss it with me. She was dishonest multiple times. Her story was inconsistent. I tried to talk to her and explain to her eventually. Um, and it was just so much that she was saying one thing and then it led to another. She just had kind of like refused to go to the district attorney's office and negotiate for me. She refused to do her job for me, and I didn't like that. So I began to further learn the law, look into my own case, and I also started contacting attorneys in the state of Wisconsin. Um, some of them locally in Kenosha contacted her. Um, I had called the district attorney's office and I spoke with people there. Uh, and they told me I qualified for alternatives to incarceration and all kinds of stuff. And the courthouse, I talked to the courthouse. That public defender told the judge's clerk not to even talk to me. They had stopped communicating. They weren't answering any questions. Although I had another case with that judge, it was just a bunch of stuff. So eventually, she never told me that she was no longer going to work for the Wisconsin Public Defender's office, but she still called. So that was unethical as it was. So I did send something to the lawyer regulation, and the way they treated me wasn't fair either. But I had to communicate with them further because I did turn myself into jail eventually. So, but I am further communicating those issues. So, she called for my incompetency. There were a series of competency evaluations. The first one was unfair, but I'm going to get to that further. So the day that they went in there, this public defender came. She was there, but I told them that I did not want him to be. I wanted to see because I wanted my own public defender. I no longer wanted her. She was leaving anyway, and so he just went on the record. The judge kicked me out the courtroom, and that attorney or that public defender went in there on his own and spoke. I don't even know what the language exactly was or any of that. So it was just multiple times in between where perhaps I did not make it to court on time, but whatever. But eventually I was told that they would arrest me within 10 days. And I'm like, how? The public defender's office was supposed to order another competency evaluation for me, but they never did. I even asked for the information so that I can contact the doctor. I pay for it. I tried all kinds of stuff, and they just refused to cooperate with me. I called to their corporate office. I really tried. So eventually, the judge put a warrant out for my arrest because didn't show up to court, but I was put in the hospital. It's all kinds of stuff. So, and the attorney did not. So when I reached out to him, and I believed that he would communicate and further contact me. But at that point, I had talked so much and I have given so much instruction and everything. I just, you know what? I want to see if you're going to do your job. You need to start doing your job. And that's just where I was with that. So eventually, it just went through a series of things, and I turned myself in. I'm here today. So I'm very grateful of that. But I have my son with me, and my son, I don't want to bring him into this. And that's the problem. Like, they involving children, and they have been involving children for many years, and that is not fair. Where they attack me, my family, my future, my children's future, and all that stuff for their unfair advantages, them and their territory. They're being territorial and territorialism or whatever, their different things that they're doing, their jobs and their games and all that to try to further colonize and do all different things to take over many things, and it's been proven, constant slavery. I have so many facts. It just continues now too. So the day of court, I had my son. I knew I only had 10 days. I didn't know what that would look like. I didn't know anything. I just knew that jail, they don't treat people the best in jail. Jail is not a place for someone to just, I would not know what would happen in jail, okay? That is a vicious place, a cycle, and it's just, I never would know. Anything can happen, and so I wanted to just have my son, be with my son, and just teach him different things, different life skills, how to manage himself and things like that, and just further just spend that time with him, because I didn't know how long they would take me away. I didn't know what would ever happen. So I eventually went to the library and left out of the library, and I was at a stop sign trying to figure out what I wanted to do exactly. It was like 9 after 9:11 p.m. Okay, um, and I was at a stop sign, near a stop sign. The library staff came and citizen arrested me. I wasn't even doing anything wrong. I'm in my car, not in my 40s, were not talking to them, didn't ask anything of them. And they told me that the police notified them, the city of Kenosha, Wisconsin, police notified them to tell me that I cannot leave. They ordered me to stay there. So they put me under citizen's arrest. They said that they had went and tried to talk to me, and I ignored them, and they said that I was some, I don't know, I'm not gonna quote them, but I have the reports, and I'm gonna further read into all that stuff. But it was not, it was very inaccurate, and which is unethical, unprofessional, and illegal. So I'm like, I'm fine, whatever. I don't have to wait. But when I was getting ready to drive off, a whole bunch of police or whatever started. I said, okay, I didn't know. I seen a lot of lights. They kept going. So I'm like, I was just going to wait. But it just was so many people, paramedics, police officers, firemen, all kinds of people, social workers out there talking to me. They were searching, looking all in my motor vehicle and everything. It was so strange. And I tried to communicate with them further, and then I was eventually some of them left. I talked with an officer just to try to communicate, my facts and things like that. And so eventually I stayed there with my son, and he's doing well, and I'm, as well as I possibly can be. And he's being well. I'm well. I'm doing well. I'm fine. So well-being is intact. And so firemen came out to try to offer something to drink or whatever, and began to talk, asking me all kind of personal questions, what I want to do with my future, and all kinds of stuff. It went on and on. I was trying to answer the questions, but everything that I was saying, it was like they had some kind of disagreement. And so I'm just like, what's the problem? They said, well, your son not going to be able to do that. They just constantly was trying to disable me and constantly tried to disable my son. But I just didn't appreciate that. I said, my son can. You ask me what? Yes, he can come. He can do these different things. He can. If I want to build a house, he can cooperate with that. Whatever it is, he can do it with me. And so eventually, they called a social worker, but it was a social worker who I had fired. The police had given me a social worker and told me that I can't contact them only through the social worker, but I did not have any cases open, any court cases or anything. So how is this social worker just coming into my life? I don't appreciate it. He was dishonest. He was just not someone that I needed to speak with. So I fired him. He was trying to get my medical records and all kinds of stuff without my permission. So I talked with him or whatever, and the men that were out there, all of them were trying to tell one another like dishonesty, trying to make it seem like I was mentally ill. And I interrupted them and I said, no, that's not true. And I said, that's not what happened. I don't know what you're talking about, but why are you telling him? And this Ryan Huntington began to tell them about other. I said, that's not their business. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Why are you telling them about when I went to jail or when I talked to you? You have nothing to do with that. And so he went on and on. He offered me some motel room and all that, and later told his supervisor that he did not offer me a motel room. So I don't know what that was about. But it was multiple police officers who were out there with him, and they were searching my SUV. They eventually went and they kept talking without me. It was so strange. And I'm like, what are you all doing? What did I possibly do? All of this. And it was throughout the night. I was up all night. It rained and everything. And so eventually the conversation just continued. The supervisor had to come out. She said, no, she is not opening a case. There's nothing wrong. I'm well within my rights. I didn't do anything wrong, all that different stuff. So they didn't succeed that time. So throughout the week, they kind of seemed like they were kind of gang stalking me. The police would see me. I was kicked out of hotels and all kinds of stuff. And it was really weird because the one hotel had called the sheriff department on me, but they said that I could stay there until check-in time. But it was so weird. They were offering me to go and sit and talk with them in a room and all kinds of stuff. It was so strange. It was very strange. It was so strange. And so they eventually called the police. It was just so weird. I didn't do anything wrong, and I shouldn't have. I should have stayed there. I don't know what they were doing. I tried to talk to somebody and all kinds of stuff, and I came back again to further talk, and it was just so much happening. And so another time I was parked, just going through my own stuff, parked looking at open land and singing and talking to my son, and just really just at a point where I was trying to figure out further what I'm going to do. I can do that as long as I want to, as much as I want to. But cars kept coming or whatever. They wouldn't go around me, in which it was no parking signs. It was a street where it was, near a stoplight or whatever. But I was further moving my vehicle and trying or whatever, but it does not matter. The police came and Kenosha police gave me fake tickets, which they immediately suspended my license for. The police officer pulled me out of my car illegally. I didn't even do anything wrong. I have valid driver's license. That was illegal for him to do. He pulled me and drove, and not only did he pull me, but he pulled my son out of the car. Made us go into that open land where it was all kinds of trash and all kinds of stuff all over the ground. It was not healthy. Took my vehicle and parked it in a private parking lot. That owner of that apartment complex could have further had my car towed or whatever. So they went they ticketed me in another, they were not the sheriff deputies, they were Kenosha police. They were not supposed to give me a ticket. That was not for them to do. That was Pleasant Prairie police jurisdiction. Pleasant Prairie police came and they did not give, and they said that Kenosha had no right to give me a ticket in their jurisdiction, and there wasn't anything to give me a ticket for. But they gave me 3 tickets, and that's because I was asking the social workers that they called questions. They were asking me, did I know what day it was? Do I know? I'm like, come on, yes, do you know? Where did you go to school at? Why are you wanting all this information about me? You are trying to stalk my life. These are questions that are abusive. And I know that. And I'm not going to deal with it. I don't care. You all created that. You are not a government agency. You are a private agency, a non-profit agency that you created and somehow connected with the city. That's it. You take advantage of people and you sue people in court. And then you eventually, if the state wants to pick it up, just like if I call the police on somebody, the state choose to pick it up or not. That's what they do. Their agency, Kenosha Human Development Services. I have videos about them and their ways too. and Kenosha County Crisis. They're a third-party agency. They never assist for years. They try to take advantage. They have all kinds of programs that they get people, and then they contact the real program, and they're all in the middle, and they cause a disruption constantly, okay? And they don't have any money. They say they don't have any money. They admit they don't have any money, but they still constantly want to be in people's business. So the police said, you know what? They just gave me a ticket after they pulled me out of my car, and that's illegal anyway. So another time I went to a restaurant, and I wasn't doing anything wrong. My son was just playing. He was not crying, and if he was crying, he could cry. It's not illegal to cry anywhere, okay? I don't have to every single moment be on my son. Every move that he makes, my son, no, okay? So I don't have to do that. So the woman came, and we went to that restaurant time after time again. Gateway Cafe, Kenosha, Wisconsin. So the woman came, asked me if I wanted water. I said yes, just plain water. She brings me back water with lemon in it. That was already not what I asked her for at all. It was very unprofessional, period. It was. I say, I didn't ask for lemon. She said, I know. I said, but I asked for regular water. And she said, oh, it's not lemonade. Oh, really? So what are you saying? Because I know it's not lemonade. So it would turn into an abusive situation. But I did not comment on that. I did not say, I just let it go or whatever. But I told her I would like some water without lemon in it. I did not ask her to put lemon in my water. That is not right. If someone orders water, you do not put lemon in the water without asking them if they want lemon. Especially if that is not your practice, especially when I just only asked for water. I did not say I want water with lemon, and you did not ask me, do I want lemon in my water? You just brought that to me. I don't need you to assume. So they assumed that I was homeless, all kinds of stuff. They were just treating me very poorly. They did not like, they really mistreat me out here for being homeless. I go through all kinds of stuff. But not everyone, but some people, and it's really big. And so eventually someone asked me if I wanted coffee. I said no. So I didn't take that long. I was counting the tip, trying to figure out what I wanted. I wanted to order, some breakfast food, but I know, I want to order bacon, but I really don't like their bacon, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I didn't know what exactly I want. I know I was going to plan some other things at the park and at a different restaurant later. So I was just doing normal things that I was at a restaurant sitting at a table. Somebody tells me whatever. And so I was just like, okay, I'm just going to stay here or whatever. Then all of a sudden I see the police coming. And I'm like, I know I didn't do anything wrong at all. So I know the police is not here, but the police have been following me. Like they had came out to Quick Trip. The police had followed me to Quick Trip. It was look at those cameras. See, they're not going to document that though. Because if you look at those cameras and see, I just was using the bathroom. A woman had burst in a bathroom at that Quick Trip. All kinds of stuff. The police had asked me where I was going. I had walked the line and everything. They were just trying to accuse me. I'm not on any medicines. I'm not on drugs. I'm not sick. I don't drink alcohol. I'm healthy. But they're trying to make it seem like I don't have my mind, but I'm proving that. So anyway, and it's not about proving it to them. It's just me living my life. But I have stuff that, and that's one reason why I'm leading up. And it's been almost 25 minutes and I'm talking about this to get to also further. The police officer came. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't have to. I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, do you want to sit down? Otherwise, I don't want to talk to you. Because they want me to talk and entertain them, I don't have to. They violated my rights. My Fifth Amendment right, my First Amendment right, all kinds of other rights. They violated me on many terms, and they violated me on many levels. So I talked to them. He never did tell me. He told me that the restaurant said I had to leave. So I was like, okay, whatever. But the restaurant said if I did not order food. But why didn't the restaurant come to me and ask me, was I going to order food? I told them I was going to order. I needed some time. She's worried about whatever situation it is. I'm sitting there counting the tip. And which the tip was taken off the table. The tip, they didn't even give the tip to the people or whatever. And one of my cell phones were stolen. So, they stole my stuff too. Police. I don't know they want to call it stealing, but I didn't get my stuff back, and they were all there. And I told them just to put my book bag, all my stuff, in my vehicle because someone came to pick it up, and they told me that they were going to bring it with me, and I did not get all my stuff back. I had 3 cell phones and only got 2 back. So anyway, one cell phone went with me to the mental health, and the other one, the other 2 went with my other stuff, which I did not receive back. Okay. So, I was getting ready to leave with my son. And the police officer told me that I cannot leave now because his supervisor wanted to talk to me. That's entrapment. They kept me there after I chose to leave. They told me I had to stay there. Kenosha Police Department, Wisconsin. The supervisor came, talked to me. He tried to get me to say that my son, all this stuff. And I said, my son is a child. He shouldn't have to be diagnosed. He's growing. I'm not going to say that he's going to be autistic or any of that his whole life or whatever. That's what that's what I was told from an elementary school, that I had to have him evaluated in order for him to go to the school. But my son, that's not fair what they did. They could not teach my son. My son was not supposed to attend that school. But they get extra money. They totally abuse the situation, for real. And I told him that. And so after I told him that, he began to tell me that I was being irrational. First, he said that they were trying to Chapter 51 me, but he's not going to allow them to. And so I started saying that, and I asked to speak to the chief. And so then when it was time, after 2 hours of sitting there talking to him, and they're talking about, I neglected my child, where you made me stay here for 2 hours, and I told you my son is hungry. I told you I'm hungry, and I could not order any food for all that time while we sit there, and all those people just were in my business watching me while you all interrogated me unlawfully in a restaurant and held me hostage, and then later kidnapped me. They said I was unresponsive. If I was unresponsive, why would you call the police and not the ambulance? I was not unresponsive. I just did not want to talk to them. I said they could sit down and have breakfast with me if they wanted to, but I was not talking to them. I ain't had to. I ain't break any rules. I asked them if I'm under arrest. They said no. I said, well, I don't need to talk to you. And so I get up to leave. The supervisor tells me I can go. I tell my son to come on. He said that he want to walk with my son or whatever. And eventually they all surround me. He said that he want me to walk out with those officers. I said, no, I'm not walking out with those officers. And eventually they surrounded me, including social workers. And I'm like, no. And then they try to accuse me. And they put me in a police car, refused to allow me to say anything to my son. I don't know what all they did to my son. I don't know what all they said to my son. I don't know what happened. I don't even know if they really fed him or not, but it was just not fair. I was in the police. They knew my mom was coming right away. I did not neglect my son. they neglected the situation. And neglect where I don't know if they're trying to get in people's business and try to see what people are doing surrounding me and try to use me against other people. But I know that I did not do any crime at all, and I did not neglect anyone. They put my daughter in a situation too. She wasn't even there. But they have been trying to take custody from me for a while, and they never could, because they were upset because I was not allowing them to come into my household and ruin my homestead, ruin what I had going on. I would talk to them about what they were doing. I would tell them, and I should have been documenting it better than what I was doing, but I took it to social media. I took it to supervisors, all kinds of people. Long-standing challenges, long-standing contests, unfair competition. They hate it. They trying to take over. They trying to make it seem like they're adopting me when they really are trying to have me to adopt them. No. So I had to go to the hospital. The police officer told the nurse to diagnose me with a mental illness that I don't have. And which I later find that's what they keep saying. They diagnose a lot of people with that. And I've been proven that I don't have it or whatever. The nurse said that she couldn't do that, whatever. And I said, how you gonna tell her to diagnose me? You don't even know me. So they were trying to really affect me and harm me. And so I had to go to a mental hospital. And I was there for a week. And they told me that I'm not mentally ill. They had no, and I said, well, they're going to try. And they took those days away from me. But the social services then involved, they were very dishonest. They went to court without me. They didn't even tell me that I had a chips case. They didn't tell me about court. I told them, I found out at the day before court, whatever. I told them that I did the same public defender that was on my criminal case went on that chips case, which was unethical. I'm not hating on him. But facts are facts. He eventually passes it on. It was just all kinds of stuff that happened. It was just terrible. They were being judgmental of me and how I lived my life. They were trying to do all kinds of stuff, trying to give me medications that I did not take, that they didn't ask me anything further about. It was just too much drama. And so they continue to go to court, even trial, to the point where they took my son and placed him with my mother, my son and my daughter. But I still have my parental rights. There's still expectations that I do the things that I have to do for my son because I am his mother. Okay? And I have no other way. I have my parental rights even though they're trying to take them. Okay? So they kept going to court. The social worker, they were dishonest in the reports. They were saying all kinds of stuff, and it was just not true. The facts aren't adding up at all. So now, I had called because I was told that there was like some summer EBT benefits or something. They're not food share, but they're like some kind of like extra food money or something like that. So I didn't really mind it didn't matter if I got them or not, but I called. And the call was just, okay. Fine. Okay. The woman says that she cannot tell me who got the food stamps, but I know that nobody got the food stamps for my son unless it was the city of Kenosha, the state of Wisconsin, United States of America. I know that for a fact. There is no way around that situation. But I was not upset. The woman tried to accuse me of being upset. She said that she would send me the information so that I can file it. I'm going to play it. And so I said, okay, because it's like, okay, she's going to email me what happened and all the situation and the information that she has. Okay. I don't know. But she says somebody did get the money or whatever. So send me the proof or whatever. She sent me some default email, and I say like to her, this is not what was this. I can't do anything with this. How am I gonna file for a hearing that you offered to me? So that's already seeming a little suspicious. But I don't have any facts. I don't know if you're being honest. I don't know anything about you. I need some proof. Show me what you're talking about. Send me something as what you are describing. You're not making sense. So I call, these places are constantly doing that. I've been kicked off the city. Well, they ain't say I've been kicked off the city bus. The city bus and say that, but the police told me if I got on the bus again, they would arrest me from what um, from what bus drivers were doing in my face, harassing me first, as I didn't do anything wrong. I have videos about that to prove it. And yes, I was talking to them because they were in my face, closing the door, trying to tell me that I had to tell them where I'm going. I said, when I get to my stop, I'll ring the bell. I don't need to tell you exactly where I'm going. That's illegal, and that's also that's something that I'm not going to tolerate. Why would I tell a bus driver where? Why do I even have to talk to a bus driver? Why are you trying to familiarize yourself with me? And why are you trying to force yourself onto me for any reason? So I have all these things that I have to do in my life. And it's just something that I have to do. There are cases, and the way that I choose to handle them is my way, and I'm valid. I'm the one that's stating the facts, and I'm proving that, and I'm supporting that. I've been kicked out of grocery stores unlawfully. They try to accuse me of stealing. I had the receipts, all kinds of stuff, and they still tried to kick me out unlawfully. So I've been kicked out of gas stations unlawfully. I have all the facts where there was nothing that I did to those people. I have been pushed around in the grocery stores. White women telling me that, basically that they got to go to where I am, like move out my way. So they've been really doing a lot of segregation, a lot of bullying, a lot of abuse, all kinds of stuff all around here. So that's kind of what it is, and that's what I'm really talking about, how I call, but they don't have the facts. They're not educating the people. I talked to the people yesterday with EBT. It was a longer conversation for like an hour. The woman talked about policy. They don't even want to share the policy. She talked about handbooks and all that different stuff, but they don't have the facts. They're not educated. They're constantly wreaking havoc, and I'm not going to be a part of their slavery. It makes no sense, all of this stuff. Like even this video, I have to constantly explain myself over and over again. But I just want to say, through all of that, it is what it is. If they are getting the food stamps because of what they did, as far as my son is concerned, as far as I am concerned, then okay. I mean, it's not food stamps. It's some program money, summer benefits or whatever. But my son doesn't even eat the school lunch. My son's going to eat with or without their stuff and some. So that is not even a worry that I have. Now, I want more in life, of course. But while they trying to act like my son is theirs and my son is not for sale, and I did not give my son away. And I would have showed up to court if they told me I had court. The attorneys did. I have all of the proof. The attorneys did not even tell me about court. I learned about it after, and I went one time, didn't even get the next court date. Tried to contact the attorney. The attorney avoided me. Eventually, the attorney told me he was sick. He was supposed to contact me later, and they had many court dates after that. The courthouse wouldn't tell me when the court dates was, and I had no other way of finding out. And I had a warrant for my arrest. But they went all the way to trial without me, without even telling me. The attorneys didn't even call me. They had my email to social workers, switched social workers, and didn't even tell me. I have text messages and all that stuff. Like this one right here. I had constantly called, left messages. This is the email to the public defender. He texted me and said, "Good morning, Miss Davis. We do have court at 3 this afternoon. Why are you an attorney and never told me that, and it's not public record?" I said, "Where? I need to appear by Zoom. And what is your email address?" I said, "I'm asking that you email me as soon as possible and do not text this line," because I wanted, I gave him my email address, jasminesgrowing@outlook.com. He didn't, I have emails. He avoided me. Then the courts went back and forth. Eventually the social worker, I don't know how that text message, it don't matter, because it's going to get to it probably where that's not fair. But my phone has been through multiple jails or whatever. I had emailed the social worker, and I have proof there. She called me unexpectedly. I said, "I'll call you back in less than a minute." She said, "Okay." I called her back in 30 seconds. She answered, and she did not admit that she had my email or my phone number. And they had changed workers, had people calling my right number from the insurance, health insurance. So I know they had it. So they don't have their facts straight, but they made up a bunch of falsified things. So that's what I'm dealing with. The Chips case, they went to court. I know. So and so I used the bus for transportation. They kicked me off. So I'm doing a lot. That's the place where I go to charge my phone. That's a place where I can go to use the bathroom, research the law, use the computers, fax machines, whatever it is. I was kicked out from a library, Southwest Library in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The library wasn't even open. I wasn't even on the library property. But they kicked me out of the library, saying that I was being loud outside, but I wasn't. And matter of fact, I have that video too. So I said, they are fighting me constantly. Anyway, so that's just kind of what I talk about. I spent 42 minutes and 49 seconds of just kind of just giving, just, and like I said, all this business out here, it's like it's going to make it seem like I'm less attractive, and but that's a design, that's a competition. Like I said to them yesterday, and I have a video on my Facebook page, how it's unreliable what they do. And they force people for food stamps and then medical and whatever. Instead of fixing the teeth, they create problems. They pull out the teeth, they do all kinds of things. They try to make people sick, and instead of looking at nutrition, looking at the proper things, and they're not trying to assist at all. And so it's always some kind of paper trail for them. But I know the truth, and that's why I ask questions constantly. And when I started to ask questions, then they started to act like I'm being mean to them. But I try. And so, like I told the woman, I wasn't trying to be rude or anything, but she tried to say that I was like trying to be rude, like I was upset, but that's not what happened. I wasn't. I was just asking questions, and so yeah, I'm trying to play this video. But wait, it's on my Facebook page. That sound is a sound that it's gonna rain. So neat, and I really want it to rain. It's gonna be something happening, like some thunder, lightning, or perhaps something like that. I don't know. Perhaps not. It does what it does. It does what it wants to do. I enjoy it. So I like who I am. I'm going to continue, and I'm growing up. it's not my career, but it could be defined as how I could say it. It's just something that where I am in life, and I promise I'm gonna handle mine, because this has been happening for a long, many years. It started with education. These people have been attacking me, my house, my cars, everything, all kinds of stuff. It was a time where I was attacked by, I'm telling you, they put all this stuff in this CHIPS report. I'm going to explain my court cases. I'm going to explain different things. And I don't have to, but I'm doing this for me, because I am someone and I'm going to live my life. And I know that I'm intelligent. I know that I can reach high heights and I can go really far in my life and be continually wealthy. And I'm not going to let those people stop me and put me in bondage and enslave me. As far as like this Juneteenth thing, it's not saying independence. It's not saying individuality. And in fact, the Emancipation Proclamation contradicts itself. I talked about that. So it's a long way. And I really appreciate the fact. I'm not saying that I am going to allow them to, but it's still a far way to go. And everyone, I have to be me. I'm doing this about myself, and I know there are problems all over the place. But I am myself, and I'm healthy. So, well, I'm Jasmine Renee Davis. I am who I am. Okay, well, and what I'm doing with myself is what I'm doing with myself. I'm confident. I'm Jasmine Renee Davis.